What if the real reason you're stuck isn't your job, your past, or the people around you, but the way your mind has been trained to run from discomfort? What if the war you keep trying to win on the outside is actually being lost on the inside? People don't collapse because life is hard. They collapse because no one ever taught them how to stay strong when it is. We're addicted to comfort, numbed by endless scrolling, distracted, drained, and deep down, we wonder why we feel so powerless. But the Stoics knew. Long before the noise of modern life, they saw the truth. Mental strength isn't a gift, it's a discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't become unshakable by chance. He forged his strength in silence and suffering, in self-control. This video isn't a dose of motivation you'll forget tomorrow. It's a call to rebuild your mind with 8 ruthless Stoic laws, unfiltered, time-tested, and designed to make you mentally unbreakable. If you're ready to stop being shaken by life and start mastering it, don't just sit back. Watch closely, speak up when it resonates, and share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. Because sometimes, one idea is all it takes to change your path forever. Number 1. Embrace discomfort like a friend. Most of us are raised to escape pain, to chase ease, to find comfort, and stay there. But the Stoics, they flipped the script entirely. They didn't see discomfort as something to flee from. They saw it as the forge of greatness. They believed that discomfort, when faced head-on, is not a punishment, but a path. Ask yourself, when did you truly grow? Was it during peaceful, effortless times? Or was it when life knocked the wind out of you, when everything felt like it was falling apart, and you had no choice but to rise or crumble? Growth rarely comes from comfort. It comes from pressure, pain, and persistence. Marcus Aurelius didn't become one of history's wisest emperors by living an easy life. He endured war, betrayal, loss, and still ruled with presence and clarity. He didn't just accept difficulty, he welcomed it. In his words, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This wasn't just a motivational phrase, it was his operating principle. Every obstacle is secretly an invitation, a challenge meant to awaken your patience, sharpen your focus, and expand your strength. Rejection, a lesson in self-worth. Delay, a test of resolve, and discomfort. That's where the real transformation begins. The modern world says, avoid discomfort. But Stoic wisdom says, prepare for it. That freezing shower, a chance to train. That awkward conversation, a door to truth. That workout when you're tired, a lesson in self-discipline. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, purposely slept on hard floors, wore basic clothes, and ate plain food, not to punish himself, but to build inner strength. Why? Because when life eventually takes away what you cling to, you won't collapse, you'll be ready. Discomfort isn't a threat. It's your mirror. It shows you your limits and your potential. We try to skip the small pains of today, only to suffer the greater ones tomorrow. But when you walk into the fire willingly, something shifts. You stop fearing it. You begin to rise above it. So start today. Choose a discomfort, just one. Face it. No negotiation. Let it challenge you, stretch you, teach you. Because that's how warriors are forged. That's how resilience is built. If you're ready to shift your mindset, drop this in the comments. Discomfort is my training ground. Number 2, stop being owned by your emotions. How often do you let your emotions hijack your entire day? One careless comment throws you off. A small inconvenience ruins your focus. You feel tired, so you give up on the gym, your goals, and your commitments. Sound familiar? That's not just your struggle, it's a human one. But here's the harsh truth. If your emotions control your behavior, then you're not in charge, they are. And to the Stoics, that kind of emotional slavery is more dangerous than physical chains. Epictetus, who literally lived as a slave before becoming a master of Stoic philosophy, once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Think about that. The stranger who cut you off in traffic, you gave them your peace. The person who rejected you, you handed them your self-worth. One cruel comment online, you let it rob your joy. Without realizing it, we give our power away every single day. But Stoicism isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's not about shutting down. It's about gaining mastery. It teaches you to notice what you feel, understand where it comes from, and choose your response instead of reacting on impulse. That's the difference between emotional weakness and emotional intelligence. A child screams when upset. A Stoic breathes, reflects, and remains steady even in the storm. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his era, reminded himself in his private writings, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's not just philosophy. That's power, the kind we rarely cultivate. The power to reclaim your peace, no matter what the world throws at you. Here's the hard part. It means you lose the luxury of blaming others. You can't say, "He made me angry," or "She ruined my day." You begin to realize it was you all along. Your reaction was your choice. But the beautiful part, you can always choose differently. You can feel rage and not act on it. You can feel fear and still walk forward. You can carry sadness without letting it consume you. That's emotional resilience. That's what Stoic freedom looks like. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause. Don't explode. Don't retreat. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this emotion helping me or holding me? Choose a response with intention. That's not being cold. That's being in command. When you stop being ruled by emotions, something powerful happens. You become a calm presence in a chaotic world. You stop overreacting. You stay grounded. And people notice. In a society where everyone is triggered, your self-mastery becomes rare, magnetic, and unstoppable. That's when the real transformation begins, not when you stop feeling, but when you stop being controlled by what you feel. Number 3, stop expecting fairness. Life owes you nothing. One of the quickest ways to feel defeated in life is to expect it to be fair. Let that idea sink in. You give your all at work, and someone with half the effort reaps the reward. You stay loyal in love, only to be left behind. You make the right choice, and still get punished. The instinctive reaction. This isn't fair. But that expectation, however natural, is a trap. Stoic philosophy strips away the illusions we cling to. Fairness isn't a law of nature. It's a story we tell ourselves to feel secure. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and master of Stoic wisdom, once observed, "You can commit injustice by doing nothing." Even at the height of power, he saw daily that life often rewards the wrong and punishes the right. But instead of falling into resentment or self-pity, he anchored himself in one powerful truth. Life does not owe you fairness. What it demands is strength. The Stoics didn't walk through the world expecting kindness, balance, or justice. They expected hardship, loss, betrayal, and unpredictability. And because they expected it, they were never caught off guard. They weren't hardened. They were prepared. Here's the brutal truth. The obsession with fairness can weaken you. Because when you focus on how things should be, you resist how they are. You get stuck in emotional outrage, instead of taking decisive action. When most people cry, "This isn't fair," what they really mean is, "I'm uncomfortable, and I don't want to accept this reality." But growth has no interest in comfort. Growth demands presence, courage, and the willingness to face life on its terms. Look around. Good people lose, bad people win. Effort doesn't always bring results. That's not cynicism, it's reality. And it's also the Stoic advantage. While most people wait for fairness, the Stoic builds strength so deep that no outcome can shake it. That doesn't mean becoming numb or disconnected. It means no longer waiting for life to treat you well before you start living well. You become the source of your own power, regardless of how the world behaves. Seneca said it best, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, especially when life feels unfair." So what do? You stop complaining and start creating. You let the pain refine you, not define you. You sharpen your skills, strengthen your mindset, and love without expectation. When betrayal hits, you carry yourself forward with calm and dignity. The Stoic path is built on radical responsibility, not because you're always to blame, but because you're always in control of your response. You don't get to control what happens, but you do control what it turns you into. Fairness isn't guaranteed, but your freedom, your strength is earned. One powerful response at a time. Number 4, focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. The Stoics taught that your true strength doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices. These are your domain. Everything else, let it go. The more you try to manage what isn't yours to control, the more anxious, angry, and exhausted you become. And that's the trap most people fall into daily. Epictetus said it best, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Yet we often do the opposite. We obsess over people's opinions. We stress about things that haven't even happened yet. We try to bend the world to fit our preferences, and when it doesn't cooperate, we suffer. But stop and ask yourself what is actually in your hands. You can control how you respond when someone insults you. You can control how hard you work, how much you prepare, how you carry yourself when everything goes sideways. You can't control the outcome, but you can control how you show up. You can't control the storm, but you can steer the ship. That's what makes a Stoic powerful. They don't shout at the wind. They adjust the sails. While others panic, they remain composed. While others fixate on what's unfair or uncertain, they focus only on what they can do right now. It's not ignorance, it's discipline. It's a conscious decision to not waste energy on things that lead nowhere. Think about how much peace you would reclaim if you stopped trying to change what won't change. If you could release the need to control how others see you, how the market moves, how the future unfolds. Real power begins the moment you decide to only invest in what's within your reach. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not just a reminder. That's a command to live by. The calmer your mind becomes, the less control the world has over you. Here's the daily test. Whenever tension rises, pause and ask yourself, is this mine to control? If the answer is yes, act with intention. If the answer is no, walk away from the worry. It's not easy, but it's freeing. And it's how you become mentally untouchable. When you embody this mindset, people feel it. You're no longer reactive. You're grounded, centered, unshaken. Not because the world stopped spinning, but because you stopped letting it spin you. That's the essence of Stoic mastery. Number 5. Practice voluntary hardship to build unbreakable will. In a society obsessed with convenience, comfort has become a silent trap. Every luxury is one more layer separating us from resilience. But the Stoics understood something that modern minds often forget. If you don't train, your life will break it for you. That's why they didn't wait for misfortune to strike. They stepped into discomfort voluntarily to make themselves ready. Seneca, one of the most powerful voices in Stoic thought, once advised setting aside days where you deliberately live with less eating, simple food, wearing rough clothes, sleeping on the floor not to suffer, but to remind yourself, is this what I was so afraid of? That question strips fear of its teeth. You realize most of your limits were imaginary. Now contrast that with how most people live today. The moment they feel hungry, they eat. The moment they're bored, they scroll. They never skip a pleasure, never delay gratification, never question their dependency on ease. And so when life does get hard, and it always does, they break. They freeze. They look for someone to blame. The Stoic doesn't, because they've already practiced hunger. They've already felt cold, tired, ignored, rejected, and kept moving anyway. That's not cruelty. That's preparation. That's what makes them adaptable, unshaken, and quietly powerful. You don't develop an iron will by thinking about it. You build it through small, controlled adversity. Voluntary hardship could mean fasting not to lose weight, but to reclaim discipline. It could mean taking a cold shower, not because you like it, but because your mind tells you not to. It could mean walking away from a comfort you can easily afford, just to prove to yourself that you own it, not the other way around. Each of these choices repeated compound. And one day, without realizing it, you'll become the kind of person who stays steady in chaos because your character was forged under intentional fire. Marcus Aurelius led through pandemics, military uprisings, and deep personal loss. Yet he wrote with serenity. He didn't hope for ease. He expected challenge. And because he expected it, it never caught him off guard. That's the Stoic way. Don't wait for the world to toughen you up. Do it yourself. So the next time your instinct is to ask, how do I avoid this? Flip the script. Ask, how do I train through this? Be hungry on purpose. Wake up early, even when your body protests. Turn off the noise and sit with your thoughts. Resist what's easy, not to punish yourself, but to prepare your spirit. Because one day, life will throw you into the storm. And when that happens, you won't be afraid. You'll be ready. Number 6. Detach from outcomes. Fall in love with the process. From a young age, we're programmed to chase results. Get the promotion, win the competition, earn the money, gain recognition. We're told success is about the outcome, but Stoicism challenges that idea entirely. It tells us detach from the outcome and master the process. Why? Because outcomes are never fully in your hands. But your effort, that's yours every single day. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and it is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." When you base your worth on results, you build your confidence on shifting sand. You go to the gym for a week, don't see instant change and quit. You launch a creative project. It doesn't explode in popularity, so you feel like a failure. You open your heart to someone, they leave, and suddenly you believe you weren't enough. That's the trap of outcome dependence. And it's one of the fastest ways to destroy motivation, joy, and clarity. But what if you flipped the script? What if you stopped chasing validation and started falling in love with the process? The daily discipline, the quiet grind, the focus, the small improvements no one claps for, but build you brick by brick. That's the Stoic path. Because when your satisfaction comes from the effort, not the result, you win regardless of what happens next. Ironically, the less you cling to results, the more they start to show up. Why? Because you're no longer desperate. You're no longer emotional. You're not held hostage by fear of failure or the need for applause. You show up and do the work with calm, grounded intention. And that makes you powerful. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it if you have to with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present." In other words, stay here now. Don't drown in what-ifs. Don't obsess over what might come. Focus on what is and act with integrity in this moment. If you're a writer, write not to trend, but to train your clarity. If you're an athlete, train not just to win, but to understand your limits and transcend them. If you're building something business body or character, build it not for praise, but because the work itself refines you. Here's the hard truth. The moment you attach your identity to success, you become fragile. But when you tie it to consistent, deliberate action, something you control, you become unstoppable. So adopt the mindset of the Stoic Craftsman Act, as if the result is already done, and your only job now is to enjoy the mastery of the process. Success. That's just a bonus. You've already won because you showed up, you gave effort, and you grew. And no one can take that from you. Number 7, embrace death. Live with urgency and purpose. Most people walk through life as if they have unlimited time. They procrastinate on their dreams, cling to comfort, remain trapped in toxic habits and hollow routines, always assuming there will be more time, more chances, more some days. But the Stoics knew better. They confronted the reality most try to ignore: you could die at any moment. And far from being morbid, that awareness made them come alive. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do say and think. This wasn't about fear, it was about freedom. Because when you finally accept that your time isn't guaranteed, you stop wasting it. You stop living like a ghost in your own story. Every second becomes sacred. Every choice matters more. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember you must die, but not to feel dread. To feel purpose. They used the reminder of death as a compass, pulling them back to the present moment, stripping away distractions, pushing them toward what truly counts. Think about it. If you truly grasped that tomorrow may not come, would you still scroll mindlessly? Would you keep arguing over things that don't matter? Would you keep delaying the changes you know you need to make? Or would you finally take that risk? Forgive that person. Build what you've been dreaming of, and speak the truth you've been hiding. Seneca said, "It's not that life is short, it's that we waste so much of it." And he was right. You might not get to choose the length of your life, but you do get to choose its depth. The most dangerous illusion we fall for is the idea that there's plenty of time. There isn't. That fear you've been avoiding, that project you keep saying you'll start next year, that apology, that change, that leap. This right now is your window. This moment is your only guarantee. The Stoic doesn't run from death. He looks it in the eye and says, "I will not waste my time here." This awareness doesn't make you fearful, it sharpens you. It strips away the need for approval. It kills ego. It burns away the fear of failure. Because the only real failure is to have lived without purpose. So live like you're on borrowed time, because you are. And once you embrace that, your presence becomes undeniable. Your actions become intentional. You stop chasing shallow goals and start becoming the person you were meant to be. People feel it. You feel it. And that's when life finally begins to burn with meaning. Number 8. Be a warrior for virtue, not approval. Let's face it, most people today are chasing validation. They want applause, likes, followers, praise. They mold their actions to fit what the crowd expects, not what their conscience knows is right. But the Stoic doesn't bend that way. The Stoic moves not for recognition, but for virtue. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." That one line could reshape a life. Do the right thing, not for attention, not for reward, not because anyone's watching, but because it is the right thing. Tell the truth, even when it costs you. Keep your promises, even when no one's holding you accountable. Train your body, your mind, your spirit, even in silence. That's how an unshakable soul is built. Virtue isn't about perfection, it's about principles. And living by principle in a world addicted to performance is no easy task. It's always easier to impress than to be authentic. Easier to cut corners than to stay consistent. Easier to blend in than to stand firm. But each time you resist that pull and choose the harder, higher path, you forge a character that no one can fake copy or take from you. Seneca offered a powerful standard: I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other. That's not image management. That's radical self-respect. It's about living in such a way that if every private thought and unseen action were suddenly made public, you'd have nothing to hide. That's real power. That's freedom. In a world obsessed with looking good, the Stoic is focused on being good. While others perform the Stoic practices. While others chase applause, the Stoic chases wisdom. And while others drift with the crowd, the Stoic stands sometimes alone, but always with purpose. Here's the truth. The need for approval is a leash. And as long as you need the crowd owns you. But the moment you stop needing their praise, you become the kind of person they respect, even follow, without you asking. So be the one who moves for virtue, not attention. Speak what matters, even if it's not popular. Do what's right, even if no one claps. And if you must walk alone, walk boldly, like that path was carved just for you. Because in the end, a life built on virtue will always stand longer than a life built on applause. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready to rise, ready to let go of distractions, weakness, and emotional noise, and step into something more. Not perfection, but strength. Not control over others, but control over yourself. That's the Stoic way. It doesn't promise comfort. It offers clarity. It offers discipline. It offers a life that holds meaning, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. Epictetus. They didn't write for peaceful times. They wrote for survival, for standing tall through betrayal, chaos, and loss with dignity. They showed us that real power isn't found in status or appearance, but in the one who holds firm to their values, who acts with courage, even when fear is present, who chooses what's right, when it would be easier not to. You don't need to wait for perfect timing. You don't need another sign. Begin now. Strengthen your mind. Embrace challenge. Let go of needing recognition. Live like time is running out, because it is. And here's the truth: you don't need approval. You don't need permission. You just need to walk the path and keep walking. Because when you live this way, you become solid, steady, and unshakable. That kind of strength is rare, and it's within your reach. If this message struck something in you, don't let it fade. Comment below, "I am becoming unshakable day by day." Like the video, share it with someone walking the same path, and subscribe. We're building a space for thinkers, doers, and those who crave purpose over noise. And remember, every step, even the hard ones, is part of your transformation. Keep showing up, keep growing, and don't stop until you're unstoppable.